Hi guys, how are you doing? This is LaQueen Terry Battle. Currently, I'm a certified medical assistant, former Army Reserves reservist, currently outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Little Rock, Arkansas, St. Louis, Missouri, and Seagoville, Texas. So shout out to all my former Army Reserve unit, medical comeback unit. And so my name is LaQueen. I have this blog here on YouTube as well as Twitter and my Facebook feed, in which I really talk about topics that relate to me, as well as with the COVID-19 virus epidemic that's been going on. I've been doing a little traveling as well as pretty much trying to get to the topics today, trying to relate to other people, as well as just using this as an outlet to express myself. So again, my name is LaQueen Battle. I'm a certified medical assistant, have 2 degrees in humanities and Spanish from Purdue University and here at Washington College. And I also have a medical assistant degree diploma from Northwest Educational Institute in Houston, Texas. So I'm just gonna make this really brief and quickly. I'm gonna talk about the topics of today. I'm gonna talk about some topics that are outside of the coronavirus, but pretty much all of this has to do with the coronavirus epidemic because it is affecting people all around the world. So I'll try to make this brief and quickly today as possible as I can. And shout out to all my friends and family back home in Texas, California, Florida, Southside Chicago, all over New York State, all the friends that I've made in New York State, all the assembly people, Congress people, the whole entire New York State Senate, the whole entire Assembly of New York State. So shout out to all my people, all my friends from New York, as well as to Governor Andrew Cuomo, Senator Minority Whip Kevin Parker, Senator and Eileen Gunther, Assemblyperson Pamela Hunter. I mean, and there's so many people I have to thank, but especially want to give a shout out, and President of the Senate, Carl. This is going off the top of my head, Carl. So thank you again. Thank you guys for all your help and support, and hopefully I can ask you guys for donations in the future. So so this is LaQueen. I'll try to make this brief and quickly. So today is Tuesday, April the 28th of 2020, and I'm coming from Boston, Massachusetts. And just a shout out, we're going to go ahead briefly talk about a little bit of mental health issues. There was a Manhattan doctor, Dr. Lorna Bean, only 49 years old. She committed suicide. She was working for a COVID-19 unit all over New York, as well as all over, just traveling and working. And because of all the pressure and all the stress from their job, she was a really top high professional in her field. She committed suicide. And so pretty much mental health is a very major issue. A lot of these workers, these healthcare workers, these first responders, not just the medical professional, the nurses and doctors, but a lot of these policemen, policewomen, the fire department guys, the ambulance people, and the first responders on the field, all the community service agencies. A lot of them are lacking a lot of resources, not only necessarily resources to do their jobs, but resources to take care of their physical and their emotional health. And so when you see nurses, you go to the emergency room, and you see doctors, and you try to come from get assistance for themselves. You really don't know how hard they have worked. You see the stress in their face. You see their skin is flush red, beaten bloody red. They're tired, they're exhausted, and still they come to you for advice. You come to them for assistance, and you don't know how many hours they have worked throughout the day. So Dr. Lorna Bean, rest in peace to her, and just continue to support and lift up the first responders, the healthcare professionals, as well as our military people out there, the policemen and women of the police forces all over the United States and around the world, as well as to the fire departments and the local EMS people who don't get a lot of respect as much as the police people and the healthcare professionals. But we do honor you, our first responders, and we're really thankful that you are a part of this united force to end this global epidemic. So thank you again to our first responders. And it's talked about here in one of the national news articles that the Charlottesville police chief, Rashad Brackney, said in a statement, which is where Dr. Breen went home to her family and friends to get some release of stress, and she eventually killed committed suicide in her own hometown. So this is what Police Chief Rochelle Brackney said in a statement. He said, frontline healthcare professionals and first responders are not immune to the mental or physical effects of the current pandemic. These professionals operate under the most stressful of circumstances, and the coronavirus does add stressors to this. So, it's additional stress. You're the patient, and they're the professional. We just have to give them time and energy, and have them somehow provide a program of assistance to help medical professionals and first responders. There are a lot of work employee assistance programs out there, but beyond this, you're working with this COVID epidemic. These medical professionals are working at minimum 12 to 14-hour shifts. These medical professionals are working at minimum, even doctors, nurses, medical assistants, CNA staff, PCTs, even in the nursing homes, at minimum nowadays, they are hiring people to work at minimum 12 to 14-hour shifts. So you can imagine the stress that, especially in the nursing homes, when you see patients dying and dying and dying on you, hand in hand, just because their immune system are not able to handle this. The additional stress and depression and what it does to the compromise that it does to your immune system has upon our healthcare workers. So that is something that also does need to be addressed as well. So blessings and prayers go up to Dr. Lorna Breen of Manhattan, who and her family during this time of epidemic. So prayers go up to her, Dr. Lorna Breen, and her family, as well as currently the United States is still at a war with Iraq. I was reading an article from March 16th by Washington Post writer Ishan Tharoor, and currently the United States is still at war with Iraq. The news is not really talking about it, but our military resources and a lot of our resources are still at a war, at fight with Iraq. Even though we released a lot of troops from the area, we released a lot of Marines and Army people, and a lot of our military resources have been at ease because due to the corona epidemic, we still are at war with Iraq and with Hezbollah. So continue to support our troops overseas, not only in Iraq but abroad, who continue to fight for our country and to do what they can as well. So we're still at a war. It's not over yet. But with every single president, there's always going to be a war. So we still have to continue to support our troops, not only in the United States with the National Guard, but abroad. And also, currently, the next topic I have is with the France presidential elections. The United States is also having a presidential election as well, but also France and a lot of other countries, as well as Latin countries and European countries, are now going to be starting their primaries for their local and national elections, not just the United States, but France. I'm sure London and the UK because of Brexit, and a lot of other countries, a lot of Latin American countries, Spain, a lot of other countries are starting their presidential elections. And so right now, while the world is focusing on coronavirus, we still need to focus on progress and growth and new leadership, not just the United States, but around the world. So there's going to be a lot of things done with that as well, with the France and the presidential elections. A lot of other European countries are actually having changes in leadership, as well as the new president of Prime Minister of Israel, Prime Minister Benny Gantz. I may be wrong. Who was Benjamin Netanyahu, who was ousted. And again, that does show you that leadership is changing around the world. And so people really need to be focused on, what is my country doing? How is my family doing? And how is this coronavirus going to affect not only my family, but political leadership, and what the changes of the spirit of growth is doing, not only to the United States and progress for a new political climate, but also at the same time, a whole bunch of new generation of young people are rising up, are getting older, are getting into their 30s and into their 40s. And so there's actually going to be new opportunities, and people are going to be challenging the old method of political leadership into a new progress and a change for the world. So there's going to be a lot of new open positions for politics, for local and national governance, not only opening it up in the United States, but around the world. And a lot of young people are now going going to be challenging the old leadership and the old government into a new generation of political leadership. So it's going to be very exciting to see not only what the U.S. presidential elections is going to do for young people, but for new presidential, local, and national elections around the world in different countries in Europe, Latin America, Africa, and around the world. So it's going to be very exciting to see new and young leadership around the world. And again, shout out to, keep praying for the people of Syria right now with what's going on between, I just got this feed right here from the young man, Ishan Daru, and his post on March the 16th in the Washington Post. Very informational post right here from Ishan Daru. The people of Syria are still in a war right now, and countries like Russia and Turkey are still fighting against the president in power of Syria, who's still not treating his people right, who's still taking away, as well as Venezuela, what's going on with Maduro. Venezuela and Syria are two different countries, are two very different countries. But the way that the government is treating their people is really disrespectful, and the world needs to do something about it. And so Trump, unfortunately, doesn't support a lot of international relations as much as somebody in his staff really needs to change that. So we do need to continue to lift up the people of Venezuela as well as lift up the people of Syria during this time of economic and health challenges, during this time of health pandemic all around us. Imagine what the United States is going through with COVID-19, and imagine what the people of Syria, especially Syria and Venezuela, are double times, triple time double of what the United States is going through. So especially with food rations, housing problems, instability problems, and government problems, the government not supporting its own people on top of that. So we really need to pray for the people of Venezuela and Syria and all the refugees that are coming from all around the world to the United States for help and assistance when the United States arms is already full of so much trouble and turmoil already. And so, of course, we do talk about that. And right now, the United States total cases of the coronavirus have now passed 1 million cases. The United States confirmed COVID cases has now passed up until 800,000 until 1 million people have now been diagnosed, confirmed COVID-19 positive. So we do need to continue to pray for Americans who are suffering from this, who are not able to get the valuable assistance, the health and medical resources that are out there. Again, please reach out to help. Reach out to your friends and family, as well as your local doctors. If there's not a local emergency room nearby you, go to your local clinic, call a local nurse, call somebody in your family who's a nurse, who may be able to offer you the same assistance and the same valuable resources that you can get at a big emergency hospital. And again, shout out to Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, who's just now recovered from the coronavirus. Thank you, God, that he has now returned to work, and the United Kingdom Parliament is now in session. The UK Parliament is now in session, and just continue to pray for the family and quick, speedy recovery of Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Even though he has recovered, there still is a long time process to fully for your body to fully get back to its normal range, for your immune system to get back to its normal range of recovery following being diagnosed with COVID-19 coronavirus. And like I was saying, my friend was telling me the other day, there are other strains, or actually the WHO and the CDC has actually discovered another strain of this COVID-19. So again, continue to keep up our leaders, Boris Johnson, as well as other leaders around the world who are suffering from this coronavirus. We still need you in office, Boris Johnson. We still need you to continue to lift the UK people with what's going on with the changes in Brexit, as well as of course in the future what the United Kingdom and the world will do with the future of the change in the British monarchy. So we cannot forget that there is going to be a change in the British monarchy pretty soon, whether in a year or two. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth has to make a decision of what she's going to do with control of the British monarchy to her son, Prince Charles, or to her grandson, Prince William, Duke of Cambridge. So there is going to be a lot of changes in the UK pretty soon within the next year. 12 months to 6 months, but there are going to be changes in the United Kingdom. So apart from Brexit, apart from a lot of other things that's going on in United Kingdom in England right now, there are going to be changes. And what happens in England usually follows around the world. So continue to pray for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth and the changes that her government has to make in the future, not only with the British monarchy, but for her people and the changes in government and Brexit as a whole. So again, with international relations, apart from the coronavirus, our current administration and staff, President Trump, our Commander-in-Chief President Trump, has an issue with supporting international relations, has an issue with supporting what is going on around the world. He has a very nationalistic point about thinking that the United States is the top of tier, and so we control everything that was going on around the world, around the United States, and the United States is the best of the best and the top of the top. But in reality, we need to our resources to get our resources from other countries. That's how it works. We are a united republic, but we don't stand by ourselves. We're not an island by ourselves. No man is an island. Understand this, that no man is an island. So the United States cannot stand by its own, especially when it's going through a tough, horrible epidemic that has not only challenged the health of society, but also the straining government, the reputation of our government as a whole. And so when you're dealing with a current commander-in-chief who does not support proper international relations, then that comes at an instance where we have to do something about this. We have to make a change to our government. And right now, Trump has cut funding to the World Health Organization, the organization that is supporting us in our efforts to derail, to cut these rising cases of the coronavirus. And so even though China pledged $30 million to the World Health Organization, is great. We need China. We need big countries to help us in our aid. At the same time, somebody in the Trump administration needs to come in and needs to address the issue of problems with international relations. Somebody in the Trump administration needs to come in and address this problem with this man. He needs to come in and address the issues that says that there needs to be an issue, needs to be addressed with the way that he is handling international relations. Because if the United States does not have a big reputation among other countries as a whole, then we need to do something as a whole. We need to do something to lift up our nation, to lift up our own people as a whole, as well as to focus on how can we relationship build with other countries. What can we do about our own self? What can we do about as a people? So that is something that needs to be addressed and needs to be done. All right, so this is LaQueen Bottom coming again from Boston, Massachusetts. A little updates for today's been about a 20-minute update. I still have a lot to do. I still have a lot to learn. Someone's calling my phone right now, and unfortunately, we do need to make changes in our world. So thank you again. This is LaQueen Battle coming from Boston, Massachusetts. I have a phone call. I'll be with you guys in a minute. And again, we do need to address a lot of issues with what's going on in the world. The whole world is changing. The political climate is changing in the world. The health climate of the world is changing. There's global warming. There's new presidential elections. There's new changes in leadership, not just in the United States, but around the world. The world is changing. The climate is changing. The world is getting smaller as our minds get bigger. So we still have a lot to focus on. We still have a lot to do about what's going on in the world. And one more time. A man is not an island by himself. A man is not an island by himself. A man is not an island. So we have to work together as a team in order to accomplish what needs to be done with this coronavirus. We have to learn, we have to learn, we have to learn as a people. Okay, good. So this is LaQueen Battle coming from Boston, Massachusetts. This is one of my first updates, my day-by-day updates. I'm gonna go ahead and just continue to do a little briefing today. What's going to roll as of Tuesday, April the 28th. And again, shout out, thank you again to the references I used today, Ishan Tharu from the Washington Post on your article March 16, as well as the New York Times, as well as to all my local assembly people, all my local legislative people of the state of New York, the state of Illinois, the state of Texas, and here in the state of Massachusetts. Thank you so much for letting me use your resources today, and I'm very happy to be here. Shout out, times out for LaQueen Battle here, coming from Boston, Massachusetts. Much love and appreciation. Thank you.